Hey, what's up guys? So we're back with more SCP Foundation. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We're going to be checking out another video by Tats TopVideos. So shout out and credit goes to Tats TopVideos for this video. Kind of confused me there for a second. It's another SCP Sedition video, and I've been really enjoying these because I saw one with 682, 079, and 049, the Plague Doctor and all that. So we're going to be checking out a new anomaly called SCP-343. So these are two different videos, but I'm just going to put them into one video. So this one's going to be a long video, like about almost an hour and a half. And so this is what I know. SCP-343, this is what I learned from one of my subscribers. His name is Long Range Zombie. You guys would see him in my SCP-5K gameplay videos and my Helldivers 2 gameplay videos. He's very active in my Discord, and he was one of my very first subscribers and members in my Discord, so that's great. And basically, this is what I gathered from SCP-343. I don't know much, this is all I know. He is considered God, like God himself. And he has some sort of like reality bending or manipulation powers or something like that, but I don't know what class he is. But with something like that, like you're able to like bend reality and things like that, you would be a class, either maybe class Euclid or Keter. But also it depends on his like cooperation as well, because 049, the Plague Doctor, is considered Euclid because he's able to cooperate and communicate, but he's still dangerous because of the experimentation he does on people. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to go, tape 1 and 2. So without anything else, let's just jump right into it. Alright, tape 1. This is like 40 minutes long, and the next one is 40 minutes long. So hope you guys got drinks, snacks, whatever you gotta do.
Come on, watch. Don't keep God waiting. Whoa, hey!
Whoa!
Hey. You alright?
Don't f***ing touch me. Let's get this over and done with so I can go back to my hole.
If you haven't had enough time to...
It's not the medication, damn it. I just need to breathe.
He just came in and collapsed.
Yeah? You gonna stop him?
He's not a mindless beast chasing you down a corridor.
That covers the NTFs at C2. What about the SCPs?
343 at least likes to pretend he's more civilized. You're safe.
My hero.
Have I arrived late? Or perhaps too early?
God, I presume.
Dude, that voice.
In the corporeal. A pleasure to meet you, 05 Jacobs.
And this is my associate.
What is he drinking?
Yes, Mr. Watchorn. Good to finally make your acquaintance.
Likewise.
Okay.
You've caused quite a stir in the...
Is this supposed to be like the Holy Grail or something? Because my knowledge of that is like just what I saw from Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade. By the way, rest in peace, Sean Connery. You are one of the best actors I've ever seen. And Sean Connery is actually my grandma's favorite actor, and rest in peace to her too. She passed away a year and a half ago.
heavenly
Dementia.
cooler. I apologize for the deception. We have no water coolers where I reside. It's more of a golden fountain at the end of an ethereal river. It really is quite a sight. Not sitting with us, Mr. Jacobs?
Old habits. Prefer to keep my distance.
As you wish. More time to converse with
Whoa.
your associate. I was very impressed at your ability to stay out of trouble at, what do you call it? C2.
I wouldn't exactly say staying out of trouble. It was more a trying to stay in one piece kind of deal.
And did you?
Physically.
Before we get started, is there anything you'd like to ask?
He's a big boy. All-knowing. No questions to ask.
I would prefer the opportunity. As I understand it, humanity is quite fond of the notion of consent.
We're also big on the idea of free will. Isn't that right, Jacobs?
Then what is it you'd like to know, 343?
God. If you'd please.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
I do find it more suitable than being compared to a used car salesman.
I don't know why, but he kind of, with his voice and his appearance and everything, he kind of reminds me of Zeus from God of War rather than God.
Sorry. Wasn't personal. Just set it to nudge 035 into...
Your concern is unwarranted. I have been called much worse.
I've mistaken apologies here.
Oh, you will. We all have something to repent.
So far, he's pretty cooperative. We don't need the extra chair.
Requires a more aesthetically pleasing design. I shall return shortly.
So what is he gonna do?
Gone better. You're doing okay. Just take it easy.
I'm trying. Okay. I'm ready.
Good. Because I'm going to need you to play good cop to my bad cop in this. We've only got one shot at getting the first recorded conversation with this guy, and if we want a clear confirmation as to whether or not he's actually God, we have to work together. Understood?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Try to relax. I doubt he'll throw anything we won't expect.
Gentlemen, shall we begin?
Whoa,
We're ready.
that's cool.
Speaking of 035, it claims to also be God, or at least created by them. Zeus, Hephaestus, you get the gist. Any relation?
A fool may
Oh, the
play
mask.
the part of God, but beneath the mask, he is still a fool.
That a confession, or...
I do not deny that there are those in my world who possess powers beyond the capabilities of humanity. Yet, the comprehension is in the eye of the beholder.
We believe what we see, but what we see isn't what we believe.
Seems a bit blasphemous to allow these beings to go about representing you. Couldn't you just, zap it?
Do you spot every fly or crush every ant that pervades your domain? My instructions have always been clear, but it is up to mankind to follow those teachings.
Oh, so it's our fault. Lovely.
A lack of understanding doesn't help.
Assumptions are tools of the uneducated.
Probably could have used some of that knowledge, huh? Might have come in handy somewhere down the line.
Oh, you wish for every charlatan to be punished? Then say no more.
I didn't...
Whoa,
Stay back, or Four Eyes gets the sharp end. Well, this is awkward.
what did he...
Just gonna...
Great pretender.
You stole my line.
Heresy is a crime, punishable by death. But for you, I'll be merciful.
It's a fine line between pleasure and...
I think he had
What
a
did you do with
hostage.
him?
Put that mask back in its cell!
Once punishment has been concluded, it will be returned. Dio, rejected by God, and beings more deserving of that title than he.
They being...
A tale unworthy of the voice of God.
We'll take it in writing. It must be hard to insist you're the one true God when we have clear evidence to the contrary.
Have I not proven my omnipotence?
Ah, but as you say, belief is in the eye of the beholder. We've got reality benders, physics-destroying, dimension-hopping creatures all over the place. Popping things in and out of sight isn't much comparatively in the way of proof.
What he means is that in the way of definitive examples of your godhood, creation, heaven, hell, you're a little on the short side.
My abilities are not tokens to be demanded. As it is written,
How convenient.
Much.
as convenient as your foundation, containing the beast that would otherwise wreak destruction upon the world I created from nothing. What if it were gone? Perhaps.
What, you're gonna destroy the world?
Be enough to satisfy.
You wouldn't.
He's bluffing.
What value is there in deception? Is not influencing the path of mankind a godlike act?
Then everyone would die. Nothing would be left.
To start from nothing is no new concept to me.
But we are not all of humanity. You can't punish everyone because we don't believe.
I was supposed to say, what is he about to do?
Desire, however terrible, was not my own. It was yours. Wishful thinking is not one that considers the consequences. That is the difference between a pretender granting wishes and a god who answers prayers.
Well, if all these other beings are simply posers, then why don't you tell us a little bit about them? Provide evidence of their deception.
Yes.
Their falsehood is evident in their fallibility. How many cults has your Foundation discovered in your observations?
I don't know. A couple dozen?
Too many.
Yet, despite this, their evil remains at bay. Yaldabaoth commands their sacrifice as pawns, demanding the destruction of technology to return my children to a more primitive state. Milkane alternatively seeks to force humanity into transcending into realms you are far too young to comprehend. A journey you would not survive, nor return from.
That in a spiritual sense?
As for Kahara,
What's going on?
The other name, please.
The hell
the
was that?
Scarlet King, as you
Oh,
desires only destruction. A futile effort, but a simple one. Your very fear of him brings forth his influence. But what do these three have in common?
Bad dental work?
Amusing. If they were truly gods up to my standing, would they not have already succeeded in their goals? For what purpose does a god require the services of lesser beings to carry out their design? A desire? I created the universe with no such vessel. My power is absolute.
Surely a god as powerful as that would use their might to slay evil.
Even evil deserves the right to free will. To enforce my control to more than an influence would make me, as you say, evil. I do what I must. Their infight.
so he leaves like the good. I mean, he will protect what's good and all that, but he will leave things that are evil alone because he says they have free will, they have the right to do what they want, and things like that. Interesting.
And seclusion are in part a result of my will.
Oh, by the way, guys, what do you guys think? Do you think 343 really is God? Well, I mean, like, he's got the voice for it.
Choices they've made seal their fates.
Which makes tracking your abilities virtually impossible.
The freedom in choice is always designed with the potential of disbelief. But every choice is not without its consequences. Some you can clearly see, while others, well, are obscure.
All right, here comes the notepad
Were
out.
you born into godhood, or did you inherit it somehow?
To be born infers a beginning, which implies an eventual end. Existence and I are inextricably linked.
Well, pardon us for not understanding time as an infinite loop.
Even that is quite an incorrect observation of how I function. But to answer your initial question, the burden of godhood has, and always shall be, my own.
Sorry excuse for a burden.
You care to repeat that?
Damn.
You're hardly treating your powers as though they were much of a burden. By your own admission, prayers go unanswered, free will decides humanity's fate 9 times out of 10, and the odd exception isn't always your doing. From where I'm standing, it almost seems as though you prance on in, give birth to whatever species you're bored enough to make, then split without consequences.
To view my presence as a luxury shows a remarkable lack of understanding in the responsibilities of the one true deity.
Interesting.
Yeah, we get the gist.
So
of it.
create, but no
Filter
responsibility.
cries for help and keep the boogeyman at bay.
What's confusing is all the things that you've told us so far don't seem to be all that time-consuming. I mean, if eternity's nothing for you, then how is the odd magic trick and bait and switch that strenuous?
Leaders of any kind are faced with decisions that hold vast and uncertain consequences. While omnipotence may grant me the gift of foresight, it does not allow the certainty in the face of free will. That is the penalty for obtaining freedom. The right to do wrong. To march headfirst into oblivion. I have sworn to never again stand in the way of mankind's ability to choose. And so my decision to act for good could very well tip the scales alternatively.
But what if our collective will is to beg you for help? That's our choice. By that point, you'd be more of an ally than God. Or would that be too much of a step down for you off that ivory tower?
If you are implying my inaction is not with the best intentions...
Oh, I'd say it sounds more like an abusive partner gaslighting their significant other. You can't create the circumstances of evil, then blame us for it when we don't clean up the mess.
As I have said, mortal, my efforts are not limited to mere choice. My eyes and ears are spread out amongst the stars.
That's a lot of senses at work. Just how far does your presence spread? How many forms do you take?
Your
That's a good question.
lifespans would not bless the time it would take to recount.
Figures. Alright. Recent history.
For a time, my
excuse me,
presence
guys.
was more in influence than direct. Visions, images, things that nowadays men use to stray more people from the path. I provided warnings of the future to Nostradamus, whose predictions of history you can attest to being accurate.
How old
More
is
like
this
up
guy?
to interpretation. You have a bit of a penchant for that.
Interpretation is the key to humanity's free will. If you are unable to choose the right paths alone, then that is your cross to bear.
Little on the nose.
In a year's time, Nostradamus predicted that a great plague would befall humanity. Perhaps then you'll believe my word.
Not the pestilence, right?
Oh, the pestilence.
But as with my teachings, humanity will interpret fact over feeling.
I wonder if he can cure the
Even
pestilence.
if I were to be blatant in my actions, man is perhaps more ignorant than you give them credit.
I'll say.
There was one account with SCP-187
By the way,
where
if
she
you-
saw you as
If you guys can hear that, that's my Discord.
a little girl. Our staff witnessed you as you are, but she has something of a future sight.
It is not a form I am certain I have been, but if it is in reference to what I am to become,
By implication, somewhat permanently.
perhaps in your future it is possible.
But not certain. To you. Interesting.
That path is determined by you, not myself. The image of a child may yet prove useful in your future as the forms of others in your past. Soothsayers, mediums, healers throughout history, lost to your time. But for all my efforts, absolution was not to be found.
Then what were you doing in Prague trying to heal the sick?
I had been observing the Foundation for a time and determined that first contact would be an acceptable risk.
Why?
Really?
Isn't what you're doing with us direct action?
A hidden organization separated from the majority of mankind, still skeptical of my powers despite first-hand proof. Speaking through you would be akin to mere advice, whispers and ripples across the fabric of mankind's development.
We're a way for you to cheat the system. Little lowbrow for a god, don't you think?
I do what is necessary.
Uh-huh.
The people I healed in Prague were a test of my abilities, drawing your gaze towards me.
Gave us quite the chase tracking you down through the city. Those tapes of you popping up all over the place still crack me up.
That rooftop one still gets me.
Right? And the agent that looks all duh.
Oh shit, that's the first time they actually laughed together.
Are my demonstrations amusing to you?
No, your tricks are impressive, but that's all they are. Tricks. You move things around, teleport, refurnish a room with decor that's so 12th century BC. But where's the big stuff?
Big stuff?
Well, you threatened us with total annihilation a couple minutes ago, but can you do the same for yourself? Can God cancel himself out?
Well, that's the question. Oh,
Can you create something or someone more powerful than you?
It is possible, but for what purpose would I deem such an act necessary?
Consider it a lesson in the nature of balance. You're sitting on the top of the food chain, which is something I've only considered accurate to 682. Don't you think that perhaps that sort of position clouds your judgment a little?
No.
So certain. Then why don't you make a stone appear on this table? Something that you can never pick up.
But why?
Humility. Something to clue you in to what an even playing field is.
I have no use for...
Oh, for crying out.
Your use is exactly the point. We have to deal with creatures that are far more powerful than us on a daily basis, yet you won't bother to lift a finger to help us out. What's the use of free will if we're doomed to die anyway? That's the point. That is the reason. Because maybe the only thing that'll convince you is to feel the same fear we do.
And what fear is that?
The fear of not being strong enough to overcome the impossible. Will you try it, or is the outcome something you're not willing to face?
I have nothing to prove.
all the riling him up.
Humanity elected pain, suffering, and fear when they disobeyed my one rule. I have broken no such bargain.
Of course. Only God sets the rules for God.
All right, next chapter.
So can you narrow down just how far your omniscience extends?
Eyes across the
The
cosmos.
lengths of my powers is beyond your comprehension.
Yeah, you guys really love that line. Look, I don't just sit on my ass and pull a Larry King in these interviews, you know. I've done my research. Studied spiritualism, philosophy, astrology, numerology, cultism, cosmology, physics, and metaphysics. I've
Damn.
read tons of theology and religious texts. The Bible, the Talmud, the Quran, Tao Te Ching, Kojiki, everything from the Book of Shadows to the Tipitaka. So yeah, don't think we're quite as dense as we look.
Don't look at me. I actually am as dense as I look.
Then I shall attempt as best as possible. I filter through every corner of creation. My influence is spread across every world, throughout nature, within the very atoms that make up your physical beings. Any lack thereof is dictated by my will, and my will alone.
What benefit does seeing an eighth of humanity do a number 2 at the same time give you?
There are things that I allow individuals to maintain in private, when my presence is not required. My sight does not need to be set everywhere at once, merely where I choose it to be.
So your own private security monitoring system, potentially anywhere at any time, all at your discretion.
In your terms, yes.
In my terms, yes. That's a lot of privacy you've invaded. You ever tune into a channel you probably should have left closed?
I'm not
Invasion of
sure
privacy.
I understand what you mean. All life is a part of my family.
Even parents give their kids some space to grow. They
And
know when it's
privacy.
best not to be there as much as they know when they're needed. But we've all gotten bored. You ever get bored, God?
No.
No. Never took a peek into the lives of someone and watched them have a little private time?
I don't want to hear about this, Watch.
I agree.
Oh, so you have looked in on someone you shouldn't have.
That was not what I meant.
Sure it wasn't.
Watch. Move on.
Hey, stop, man. You're gonna bring Judgment Day upon us.
Now we know how your sight works in terms of space, but what about on a temporal level? Are you only able to view the present, or can you also see the past and predict the future?
In a sense. In reality, I've never experienced your concept of time. Such a linear thing, very set in its way. Within as reason, frayed to an infinitesimal degree. In each strand is as unbreakable as the strongest element. But for me, time is simply a location rather than a concept. A room with many doors to many places beyond.
Oh, because you can go whenever you want.
All simultaneously, and never have left.
I'd ask if that were overwhelming, but given you've done this all your life, do I call it life?
I haven't much use for a word.
Existence? Presence?
No, Etern?
Latin?
Old English, it's poetic.
Alrighty then. You've done this for your eterne, viewing everything
Eterne.
that exists, does, has, or will simultaneously. From your metaphor, I assume you also mean alternative timelines that result in parallel universes, or what some refer to as the omniverse. Do you exist there too?
Indubitably.
That's a lot to manage. Did you start with just one at first?
Also important, was it ours?
I cannot recall, although I believe it hardly matters at this point. A potential side effect of free will being implemented in your design. To allow the luxury of choice on such a monumental scale require that the consequences of every potential outcome take manifestation.
You mean to tell me that if I decide to drink regular or decaf in the morning, almond or soy, sugar or bitter, each of those results in a new universe being born?
Precisely.
That kind of reminds me, excuse me, that kind of reminds me of the Marvel, like, what if universe or series. Just like, alternate universes and realities. What if this happened or this didn't happen? Also, what was that? It was a DC film called Justice League. I think it was like Crisis on Two Earths. I do remember Owlman did saying that, like, there is a original Earth, but however, there is another Earth that's splitted and created for every choice we do make, and another one created for every choice we didn't make. So there's like infinite Earths and infinite timelines. So it kind of reminds me of that after just saying something like that.
But there must be beyond numbers of them. One person alone.
Now I begin to understand. Although many of these universes have died out, or their potential squandered by wars and disease that have ravaged our life. Once, two universes re-emerged since, by sheer coincidence, their alternating paths resulted in a single moment where they had overlapped once more.
Then what?
Choice. Division.
Mitosis.
In a sense, the life cycle of the smallest and simplest organisms is somewhat nearer the life cycle of my creation.
That's poetic.
The whole eternity must become quite boring. The circle of life constantly repeating.
I admit a level of discontent. All things considered, and I mean that absolutely, it does feel as though my consistent presence amongst my creations is more a form of habit and necessity than it is out of interest.
Maybe a change of view would shake things up. Let's get hypothetical. What would you do if you woke up one day...
I don't sleep.
Same. What would you do if
Damn.
you suddenly found yourself powerless?
You mean human?
Damn,
Sure.
we're all
On a
powerless.
physical level, I would have limited senses at my disposal, numbing me to the ebb and flow of existence. At the same time, what few I retain would be substantially more sensitive to even the slightest stimuli. But on an emotional level, I would know that residing in this corporeal form would only be temporary. it would serve no purpose.
Okay, but suppose you didn't. Suppose that for as long as your human life lasted, you would never even know you were God, or that you would return to godhood once you had died. Imagine a 343 with the same restraints and uncertainties that plague humanity. What would you say to that?
Why?
So you can understand what it's like to be human.
I understand humanity. I created you.
Yes, you understand us.
But do
you
you
made
actually
us. You study us.
feel?
You give us what we have. But the barrier still exists. Everything you programmed a human being to be. But you still don't know what it's like to be one. At the end of the day, we're two separate entities.
I would have to consider the merit of such action.
Is there anything you'd give your powers up for?
Why do you ask this question?
You must have given us the lives you did, made us the way we are. Because you felt this was in some way an improvement over what you had. Maybe we're what you wish you could be.
No.
What? You're telling me there's
he
no
kinda
way you'd
hesitated
benefit
there.
from us?
Said no. My reasons are my own. Proceed.
Whoa, what did he just do? Damn, dude, he's about to bring down the apocalypse on us.
Why do you insist on coming here? To Earth? Out of the billions of planets you've supposedly created.
Surely there must be more interesting things for you to do or find out there.
I have seen all there is to know.
You didn't fully predict the separation of universes. Maybe there's more unknowns out there in the undiscovered country.
You misunderstand me. I have seen all, past, present, future. If anything unprecedented were to wriggle free at any point in any time across all planes of existence,
I
then
wonder if he's seen any
would be
aliens.
The first and most likely only to know.
If that's the case, then nothing should surprise you. You could predict the future and tell us how to avoid potentially devastating outcomes. Why don't you?
Choice once again rears its ugly head. I not only see the future, but all potential futures. I live in them all, but I am uncertain as to which will become your reality until all necessary pieces have fallen into place. Once
Whoa.
again, the frailty rests with man.
Yeah, I don't buy it. For someone who did everything he could to create us, you sure seem to belittle our existence on the regular. What about the whole made you in his image thing? You certainly seem to be skirting the definition a bit on appearances alone.
My physical attributes are not tied to my natural form.
Then why the facade? We're all alike here. For the most part. You know that, I know that. There's no need to play dress up for the lowly mortals.
I prefer this form.
Yeah, of course. Gotta keep some degree of separation. But it just doesn't add up. Why would you make us the way we are, condemn us for taking advantage of the traits we were given, then hang around caring whether we get wiped out or not? It makes no sense.
Humanity is my responsibility. It is not my place to simply stand by nor interfere directly. I must remain.
What if we don't need you?
Watch.
Whoa.
Less of us believe in you day by day. You're becoming less and less relevant every day of your inaction. People die, catastrophes manifest on a daily basis, and new and more dangerous SCPs are born into this world just to add another threat to the overwhelming honeypot that is the apparent death wish of our universe.
Calm down.
And through all that, you can't spare one miserable life. Someone who is supposedly made unto your image. You couldn't care less. An innocent child who can hardly take care of themselves? For what? Preserving the moral fiber of your being? How righteous and godlike you must feel to let the lives of everyone you've created hang at the end of the noose you tied from the first day we were born.
You see me as a fault for a personal slight, Isaac? Do you curse me for the pain you feel?
I'm sure you'd like the idea of living rent-free in my head, but think again. You just seem to be a little too eager to stick around a species that by your own definition as our creator is inferior. Almost like you're envious.
Envious?
of what?
You claim responsibility for our ongoing survival. You also infer that you exist by nature, across all timelines, all universes. You have no concept of time as we experience it. But that simply means that you have the pressures of an eternity mounting on you at every moment.
What is your point?
Don't you know? You should. You know everything. I think you envy our freedom. Our lives are smaller by comparison, but we aren't beholden to some grand responsibility. We live how we want, we can be what we want. We're not held back by the knowledge of what destiny holds.
He's got a
Our
point there.
fragility or ignorance or whatever you want to call it is what you want. That's why you designed us this way. We're an imperfect copy of you, because that's the kind of existence you wish you could have.
To live, to die, to sleep. The merit of your argument rests on the idea that I feel I have been robbed of a right I have never known, and therefore can never miss or be envious of. Could any humans miss wielding the power of God when they have never controlled such a thing?
You don't need to have loved and lost to want to feel it. I think you underestimate how many people wish they could have the kind of power you have.
Anything?
Let's move on.
Oh, okay. What's this one? Abuse of power.
We know that the doctor in charge of your case disappeared shortly after raising concerns about your requests for interaction.
Did he? And what was his name?
He disappeared, huh?
Don't play dumb with me.
Easy there.
And disappeared is putting it too nicely. A man was wiped from existence while studying you. His associate also vanished shortly around the time of your last visit. The
He sent them to another timeline.
Ah, a good man. Very well read. Handsome, too.
He never existed either. Not until he took over your file. No family, no forms of enlistment. It's like Beck was dropped in with a pair of divine forceps. Except for some reason we all remember him, but we don't remember his predecessor.
I'm sorry, but is there a question here?
Did you get rid of him?
What happened?
The actions of God are not for mankind to question, as is the motivation behind them.
Last I checked, the Lord works in mysterious ways didn't get me out of a parking ticket. You're seriously gonna hide behind that defense?
There are some things humanity is better off not knowing. Truths that expose you to danger or inspire you to seek it out on some misguided voyage.
We lock things up all the time that by all means we should never have known about in the first place. But it's our job, and we're willing to face those consequences.
And yet you still hide their existence from the wider population. Why is that? For your safety or theirs? Humans who seek the truth rarely react appropriately once it has been found. Many of you try to deny it regardless, while some of you spend your lives lashing out to protect yourself from imagined horrors from around every corner. Truth is trauma for the weak-willed. You think you see it here.
That's quite a
Even
line.
The Foundation used the truth from behind safety glass and locked doors. Remove that filter, and your minds would break. You understand. You fear me as much as you hate. Preservation is the only motivation that we truly share. But my reasoning outclasses your own. What your missing doctor failed to understand is that the truths I hold would have destroyed him regardless. Not to mention the catastrophes that would have resulted in passing them on to you.
You're trying to tell me that this was necessary.
I declare that my actions were necessary.
Did he have kids, a family, partner, parents, pets, a freaking bowling team? Did he spend his life
bowling
doing
team.
good deeds or bad? Does it even matter? You took it from them. From everyone. You didn't just kill someone. What you did was worse. And we don't even know how many more there are. We only...
That makes sense. I mean, like, if 343 just killed him, then he would still be remembered and loved by those who loved him and remembered him, like friends, family, and all that. But wipe someone else out of existence, like his record is wiped clean, that's even worse.
only know about this single person by chance. Your actions erase the consequences of a man in this world. You denied him his choices. That was necessary. But you can't help us for any other reason?
It was necessary.
You could have done anything. You're God, are you not? Erased his memory, teleported away, asked for a damn transfer. Did you think we were gonna deny you?
Isaac, calm down.
No, he doesn't get to get away with this. What kind of irresponsible
no.
God would just wave his hand and tear you out of time and space for doing what humans do best? What he designed us to do, seek the truth.
You are not ready for many of the truths you seek. You think knowledge is as simple to obtain as eating an apple? That is not the whole story. It is merely what I allow you to know.
Then, what happened?
Pain. Suffering. As I predicted. As I warned you. Begged you to trust that you were better off without. You have to be punished for breaking it. Or you would have never learned your lesson.
I think you're the one who hasn't learned a lesson. Just because you may have made us doesn't make us lesser than you.
You think you could handle the responsibilities of a god?
You bet your ass I could if you're anything to judge by.
Damn. So basically he said I could do your job.
Believe so demonstrates how ill-suited you are to the task. It proves just how lesser you are.
Eat a dick, asswipe.
Isaac, no! Stop it!
The selfish delusion of a man, simply and pathetically. You think I do not see the desires that push you to such extremes? I ask of you, if you would be God, what would you do? I thought so. It was obvious from the start. I have unfinished business to attend to. Be sure to see to your own until my return.
Where's he going?
What the hell was that?
Hell is right.
So he doesn't think he's from heaven, he's from hell. Okay, looks like that's it for the first part. So give me 1 second, guys. I gotta take I gotta go to the bathroom and all that. So be right back. All right, guys. Now for the second tape. This one's also like 43 minutes long. So hope you guys have water, drinks, or whatever you guys need.
I'm sorry.
I want you to keep track of it. Make sure we lose nothing this time.
Oh, it has. Good. Thanks, McCrimmon. No word yet from God. Not that we really expected much.
I wonder what he's doing
so
right
far,
now.
all video footage is accounted for. There's no evidence 343 has taken action to erase anyone or anything as a result of the complications. And 035 appeared back in its cell 4 minutes ago.
What's he saying?
Nothing. It refuses to take a host. Never thought I'd see the day when 035 would shut up.
Could
What
be
did God
worse.
do to him?
He could be fine.
So, you took a swing at God. How did you think that would turn out?
I don't know. Black eye, thunderbolt, the usual.
I think that's the first time we heard him laugh. Well, second time.
Well, add that to the resume.
Go swing at God. You're hired.
He's getting to you. That's obvious. But I know you. You don't let your emotions take control like this. I need that special something you've got. Can you keep it together?
I don't know what you want from me. One day you're out for blood, my blood, then the next you want to make nice. Need a chance to gloat to the suits upstairs about getting 343 on film? Prove once and for all that he's the real charlatan here? You don't need me for that shit.
I do!
No, man, you don't. You know what's special about me? I actually give a damn about things. I want to help the ones we can. Because the reason they hate us so much isn't always some blind rage or incorruptible bias they've been programmed to believe. It's us. No. It's you. How do I know? Because I've only gotten the same treatment. Oh, I'm not the same. Oh, I want to change. Why don't you prove it, huh? As long as you keep kicking me on the front lines as your personal meat shield to protect your sorry ass, I'll never believe you've changed.
I do want things to change. Don't you?
Personally, I am this close to not caring.
Yeah, he's almost had
Finish
enough.
up. We don't know when 343 will...
Oh, the meal too. Oh, wait. Oh, he just put the meal back at the counter. I thought he took the meal with him as a courtesy.
Oh,
The hell?
am I disturbing you?
Nah, we were finished.
I see.
Thank you for returning 035.
Hey, different
What
background this time.
did you do with it?
It'll tell you once it is ready. I must admit, I have more pressing concerns.
Oh yeah? What about?
You, as a matter of fact. I notice you've been taking these for quite some time.
Oh, that's a pill bottle.
When I notified the Foundation of my arrival, your overseers took them away. What are they?
Lexapro, antidepressant. Supposed to reduce depressive and suicidal tendencies, allegedly.
Oh, I see. To manage trauma. And the other?
Zyprexa, antipsychotic, for hallucinations and when you really want to get a good cleaning out downstairs.
That's enough. Are we gonna start this?
No need for hostility, Mr. Jacobs. I was merely showing my concern.
It's shown. Let's do this.
Certainly.
Man, he just went into his room and started taking
Are
things.
you, or beings like you, responsible for all SCP-1795 instances?
Directly or otherwise,
1795?
I am responsible for all things within this realm. But to be clear, I had no part to play in the creation of these chariots.
They seem to indicate an ancient civilization lived in our universe long before we ever did. Must have been a great deal of time, as they were advanced enough to forge organic vessels capable of exploring space. With how they're designed to look like a literal heart, they must have shared some anatomy with us. This begs the question, was this race some kind of precursor to mankind? Like a prototype of what we were to become?
Though ultimately incorrect. This specific species was born on a world that has since ceased to exist, succumbing to the ultimate inevitability.
And that is?
Universal collapse.
I'm sorry, are you saying that our universe is in a state of collapse?
Right now?
It has been many times before, and most likely will again, but not currently.
I don't understand. Are we constantly living on the brink of destruction or something?
Yeah,
No.
that's my question too.
He's saying the universe isn't just a one-off deal, aren't you?
Go on.
Space expands, stretches until it reaches its limit. Eventually the bandwidth snaps, and so the whole thing collapses back into a singularity, like a reverse Big Bang. And then the immense pressure of all forms of matter being compressed in such a tight space would cause an explosion.
Another Big Bang?
Starting the universe. Death and rebirth, generating a new
Whoa.
instance with every cycle.
Are you saying that those entities in space, they're from an earlier universe?
But nothing can survive universal annihilation.
Nothing. unless reality poses no threat.
That would mean that they can break the laws of physics.
Vessels capable of acclimating to the immense pressures of universal collapse, biomechanically bred to become one with the singularity and strong enough to ride the shockwave of a Big Bang.
That's impossible. Nothing could ever do what you're describing. It goes against every natural law.
Their instinct is to survive. And with that incentive, even the bounds of what's possible are meaningless. A shockwave dispersal, powered by the energies of a reforged cosmos, tasked to propagate new worlds and inseminate them with life forms of the same shape as their creators. They were not the first to achieve such a feat.
Sorry guys,
perhaps
felt like something was inside my eye.
will join in that honor.
That can't be right. The transmission we received from the ship said their creators had been part of a great war. They were on the brink of extinction.
What greater battle exists than the fight for survival?
You designed it that way.
Watch.
An accurate observation. Death did not always factor into previous versions of creation. But an end to existence has always been part of every design. It ensures those born unto me are as untarnished by consequence as the next cosmic iteration.
That brings up a good point. Are you even capable of having children? Cain and Abel come to mind. They've been in our care for quite some time.
Wait, Cain and Abel? I think I remember this, but just a second. SCP Cain and Abel. SCP-073. Cain is 073 and Abel is 076. Oh, I mean, I heard of Cain and Abel, but I really haven't really looked into it. Okay, well, there's another to the list.
Care is not the particular word I would use to describe the treatment they've endured here. But such suffering is unavoidable for them.
You don't disapprove?
On the contrary, it is they who have brought this fate upon themselves, though I mourn for them. In essence, they are my grandchildren. Cain, the ever-repentant, forever searching for the means to atone for his sin, and Abel, a victim, doomed to stand as a monument to Cain's failure and the lost potential of his bloodline. The mark of Cain is not only a reminder of his brother's murder, but the symbol itself is tied to Abel's damned soul.
What does it do?
You will need to ask Cain for the answer to that question.
You've spoken in fewer riddles since our last session.
Well, we're going to have to set
why
up
don't you
another
just answer
interview.
the question.
It is not my place to do so. Only Cain can judge you worthy of that. Though, as I understand, he has pledged services to your Foundation. No doubt as a means to repair the damage he has caused. Would you also deny that his past is already known to your council? There is little wonder why he was so quick to ally himself with you, manipulating his agony to make him your puppet.
You're one to talk.
Isaac. It's not something either of us condone, but he has proven to be a useful ally.
Ally?
Really?
Prisoner.
What do you expect us to do about it?
Nothing. And I wouldn't have it any other way. The decision is up to your council. And Cain's guilt-riddled conscience.
Can we change the subject, please? We're running a little short on time.
Certainly.
Cain and Abel, wow.
Okay.
There's a
I
lot of
pulled these two
biblical
files.
anomalies.
Hope you might explain the reason for being
God, Cain and Abel.
SCP-239.
The Witch Child.
239.
SCP-2845.
I see. Well, to put it simply, their powers, though godlike, are not on par with my own, as you well know.
I don't know about that.
They're
SCP-2845 is an extraterrestrial quadruped entity measuring 2.9 meters in height. At the shoulder, the neck... Wait, so... 2845 is known as the Deer and is a major antagonist in the SCP universe. So basically it's this thing. If you guys can see that. I think I did see like something familiar like 2845 the Deer in like maybe one of the videos. I think it was like something related with the Scarlet King when I checked out one of those videos.
Abilities are akin to lesser deities. Demigods who wield great might, but are not tied to the fabric of existence like true celestial beings. Take the Deer, for example.
Oh, so does the
It
Deer,
is from
yeah.
ancient time, prior to Earth's formation, a phase of creation where, let's just say, I dabbled in making creatures that served the greater function of enriching nature. The fauna on this world are modeled on their design. My later attempts would resemble what you were to become. But ultimately, that process was flawed.
Hard to believe you, of all people, would make a mistake.
It was meant to be.
I do not make mistakes.
I was doomed to learn. Without their instincts being tailored towards maintaining the mega-cosmic balance, selfish desire dictated their wills. Those alive today only exist to further their powers by pretending to be gods.
But that's not what 2845 is.
No. It has no interest nor concept of narcissism. It exists to live as one with nature, eternally protecting that with which no other life can spawn, even if that life does not appreciate nature's gifts.
So 239 fits into another category.
Is that what you believe?
She doesn't seem to pose a conscious threat, but that depends on how well the lie holds up.
You fear the truth will corrupt her, perhaps. But realization of a lie can turn friend to foe far easier than a hard truth.
She's just a child. These powers are more a curse than anything one would wish for.
Exactly.
Okay, now I'm curious. The witch child. Sorry, I mean, like, I've done this before, guys, and I believe when we were interviewing 682, I kept on looking up, like, different anomalies that they kept on mentioning. Let's see. SCP Witch Child. SCP-239 Witch Child. It appears to be a 8-year-old girl, a meter in height and 20 kilograms in weight, and let's see, subject has blonde hair. It has extraordinarily powerful Icelandic ontokinetic... Wait. What can it do? Just a second. Powers. So, the Witch Child possesses extensive reality-bending abilities. It's always a reality-bending. This includes teleporting, transforming people and objects, altering the environment, and even affecting the flow of time. Her powers are essentially based on her will and what she desires to do. Wow, that sounds pretty dangerous.
So why would you allow her to have them?
Allow?
Why have her keep them? She poses a threat to herself and, well, everything we know.
It is an anomaly. I, as with free will, am willing to interfere.
Free will.
Each form of life is tied to my being, and as such acts as a conduit for my power. A sensation that there is always someone watching over you, protecting you, a greater order than what you perceive. Inevitably, this connection to the source will be stronger in some.
they will be able to channel fractions of my power. These individuals may go their whole lives unaware of this gift, while others will be inherently masterful in its use.
Masterful? Some of the most harmful things she's done have been because of a single stray thought or careless feeling.
Yes, it is unfortunate. However, in your care, I am certain she will tame her own mind against such careless mistakes.
Are you kidding me?
No, he's right. We are the best chance she's got.
Laws such as her will need guidance. It is they who are destined to inherit the world, and should they prove responsibility controlling their powers, a place at my side in the kingdom of heaven.
Does that mean anyone can have these powers?
Yes.
So any of us could just be walking around, the next Jesus Christ, and just not know it?
Would that mean that by definition you'd classify your son as an SCP?
To be categorized as such is irrelevant. Do you believe I call myself SCP for anything but your benefit?
So
Well,
anyone...
actually, you insist on God.
Then why should I impose such a thing upon my own ilk? Jesus of Nazareth is my descendant, a direct line rather than an invention such as Adam and Eve and the betrayer.
That's supposed to be Lilith.
Do not speak her name. A child or creation or product of either. Anything you might classify as SCP are still life by any standard. Given the rate their numbers increase, it is evident they are as natural to this world as human beings.
But they
And therefore
pose
should be
bigger
valued
threats.
just as equally.
In that case, you got any other familial links? Are you related to, say, 001?
Which one? The Gate Guardian?
Gate
Oh, okay.
Guardian, a being without meaning, only singular in its purpose, an early inhabitant of my kingdom. There was a time when the Guardian was a favorite in the halls of heaven, and a good friend. But they surrendered everything for their station at the gates to Eden,
Everything being...
their life, so their identity, everything they were or could have been.
Why would they do that?
As you have said, humanity's belief in me is waning, and the servants of the Lord do not take kindly to such disloyalty.
Disloyalty?
Shh.
Eden is no longer the bastion of sanctuary it once was.
Jacobs is holding watch back.
It was never properly part of this earth. It is a bridge to my will, and within assembles an army that will one day enact what you call, Armageddon, yes.
So much for the allowance of free will.
Well, it is not my place. My reasoning has already been made clear. They, like humanity, are taking advantage of the gift of
Free will.
precisely. Their presence is the consequence of your sin, one you have all been made aware of, and one I have attempted to lessen through my son. They intend to wipe the slate clean, but the Guardian felt otherwise. Their sacrifice was to ensure unwavering commitment to your post. For your sakes, a chance to reclaim a seat in heaven.
What do you believe?
And neither you nor this army are entitled to either of your desires. But I am unable to change that.
Oh, really? We keep picking up a transmission from the future. When the gate finally opens, the date keeps fluctuating. Is that because of you?
That date is entirely up to you.
Clear and present danger.
Since you claim to be a higher entity who can do anything, why don't you try to help us contain apocalypse-level threats?
It is the right of all things to exist. Some may elect the path of destruction, while others only appear evil, carrying out what is simply in their nature.
So he will let us die
Death
and be
is,
destroyed.
after all, a natural part of life. Do all humans consider this when slaughtering livestock for their food, or harvesting entire habitats from species who need it the most?
Oh yeah, broadly speaking, you're right. But not everything is native to here. Like you said, quite a few of these SCPs are from earlier universes.
That was a pretty
You felt
good
to
comparison,
separate
though.
from each other. Now they're influencing our world. You saying that doesn't matter anymore after the big scene you just made?
Their right to life does not end simply because I had designed it to, and at a predetermined point. Exceeding my ambitions is no crime worthy of execution.
Fine. Then what about the things we clearly need help containing, or at least understanding?
Your insights could go a great way to putting us on the right path.
And making better decisions, yeah.
That would depend upon the subject.
We have an anomalous plague doctor on site who claims
049.
the plague is ravaging the world. Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
The pestilence.
Is it real?
The idea of the pestilence mirrors the virility of a disease, but your 049 merely interprets its function through only the lens available to him. That is all I will say.
No surprises there. In that case, what about a more direct threat? Something like SCP-2317.
That is a dangerous game to play.
I don't know
I'll
what
take
that
my
is.
chances. You wind up summoning him again, I don't have anything to lose.
2317. I gotta do it again, guys. Okay, SCP-2317 is a wooden door and frame originally constructed as a basement door for a 19th century Massachusetts brownstone. What does it do? It's a gateway to an alternate reality. Stepping through it transports individuals to a different dimension, and it's associated with powerful malicious demigod known as the Devourer of Worlds. The breaking chains in SCP-2317's containment corresponds to terrible events in the real world, with potential for catastrophic consequences. I never heard of this one, but so this is a gateway to an alternate reality.
Very well. You already know that 2317 houses the ritual grounds that contain the Goliath. And you are aware of its connection to the Scarlet King?
Oh, I didn't mention
That's
that.
right. We've been trying to study how to keep it contained, and making sure that the last seal stays on it. Could stop a lot of unnecessary suffering if you just made it all go away.
Even something so corrupt is entitled to exist.
Does that mean the creature down there is the Scarlet King? That once the last seal is gone, it's all over for us?
The creature you fear is but one of 7 vessels of the Scarlet King. He is ultimately unable to enter the realm, aside from minor breaches, but these avatars would allow him to fragment his powers across the void into your world.
So why don't you handle it then?
The behemoths are themselves mortal. They have the potential to be slain, and therefore it is the duty of mortals such as yourselves to survive their wrath.
I don't believe this.
So you're saying there's a chance, but only while his powers are fragmented. What happens if they become one?
Then we're screwed.
You would never risk such a thing happening,
Why not?
because then he would be a deity once more. Such power infiltrating this realm would be an affront to even myself. It is the only circumstance
That's powerful,
I
huh?
resolve to take action.
So only when you're the one who's under threat. What kind of reasoning is that? No, don't tell me.
Free
It's
will.
to ensure everything gets the same chance at life.
Watch.
Why in the hell would you even want to make some of these things? So far, we have reality benders who can kill us with a simple thought, apocalyptic diseases, entities that could have killed whole cities because it moved in its sleep once, and potentially worse shit you have planned in the future. So the question I put to you is this: why?
You give me too much credit, Isaac. All beings that exist today are not entirely a result of my direct intentions. Those that have strayed from my flock have sought to establish their own anomalies, designed to suit a specific purpose, to experiment, or for no reason at all but to spite me.
But as you've said, you made these deities, and by virtue caused their creations to exist. So why don't you erase their mistakes from the world? It's not like you haven't done it before.
Simple. That is the responsibility of those who created them. It is not for I to decide which life is more worthy to exist over another.
So he's not the
These
judge.
false gods alone choosing to pervert my realm with these abominations. I may have done what you suggest. But as we both know, mankind is just as guilty of this sin as any other. You must all face the consequences of your actions, or you will never learn from your mistakes.
Oh, what's his next one? Fear and
I think we should
loathing.
narrow down the subjects to other SCPs, for example. Any of them you feel an affinity for?
We've studied SCP-804 and believe it operates like it has your powers. The device degrades everything and is man-made.
804. Okay, I gotta do it again, guys. I mean, this is something I have to do, and it helps me discover new SCPs and learn about them. Okay, SCP-804 is remains of an art installation titled World Without Man. When the globes within SCP-804 rotated, it'll disintegrate all man-made artifacts within approximately 100 meters. The area effect grows the longer the device is active, with the effect growing ever stronger at its source. So if it keeps on spinning, it could consume everything man-made around the world. And it looks like this. So that globe right there, if it started spinning, we're screwed. Well, I mean, everything man-made is screwed. Interesting.
It is an affront to life, and refuses those caught on its path of destruction the will to deny obliteration. It is one of the few junctures within my eternal I have considered revoking free will, to prevent more inventions such as this from seeing the light of day.
Doesn't that potentially frighten you? Is there anything that scares God?
The plaything of an author, dictating the events that we all know, holding our fates in the palm of their hand. Is that not frightening?
I don't know. They don't call it the God Eater for nothing. Ironically, it was said to have devoured the Abrahamic God.
As you can clearly see, I sit before you wholly unharmed.
Sure, if you buy the whole God thing. Still, wonder how the Druids would have reacted, seeing you waltz in during their ritual ceremony.
May mercy find their tainted souls and guide them back to the light.
If I may, somewhat personally, does the soul actually exist? What happens when we die?
Do we go to heaven or hell?
That depends on the person. Everyone possesses in essence the potential for rebirth in one realm or another. But where it goes is determined by the quality of the life led. Do you believe you'll be rewarded at the gates of heaven, Mr. Jacobs? Or would you rather pray for salvation?
So I guess what you do in life will determine whether you go to
How do you
heaven
feel
or hell.
when humans claim that your will guides them
Deserving
to
to
do
live.
great and terrible things?
I am familiar with being the scapegoat of the deranged, whether through delusions or deceit. I have never encouraged this behavior.
All these murderers, televangelists, and world leaders who command the will of the people take lives on a whim. Doesn't that make you sick?
Infuriating, yes. But if your aim is to ask if I feel them worthy of retribution,
Not just them. We're all guilty of something. You were right about that. Made lots of enemies, both 079 and 682.
682.
Giant broody reptilian type, indestructible.
I recall he was mentioned to me
Oh, he doesn't know it?
before.
They both claim we're doomed to destroy ourselves if they don't get to us first. Do you believe we're even worthy of being saved?
Why do you ask me this?
You're
Are
God.
the actions of the good few really worth the suffering caused by the awful many?
And where do you see yourself fall on that line? Do you consider yourself righteous because of good intentions?
Can't be worse than most.
You are no different than your colleagues. Your moral high ground is paved with the same terrible deeds of a monster. Deep down, you would both sacrifice the lives of others for your own goals, even if they are for the greater good. The people who are tossed into cells as bait to be experimented on.
Oh, like the D-class,
studying
yeah.
the SCPs you capture. Does that scream ethical to you?
Then why bother designing a species so inherently flawed as us?
I expected better, at least somewhere down the line. But every new attempt to perfect the design winds up spawning worse life. Even now, your inner turmoil makes you wish for those around you to be destroyed, making it easier for you to have things you desire.
You think you're not guilty of this too? Where's your remorse? Aren't you capable of feeling regret?
My feelings add no value to the crimes humanity has perpetrated upon itself. You certainly do not feel guilt over the lives lost at your benefit, the ones you turned a blind eye to, or the one you left behind.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
We should stop here.
No, you shut the up. What did you just say?
If there is anything for me to
Watch is
regret,
rebelling.
it is that I wasted my time allowing things like you the right to breathe. You don't deserve a thing.
Well, why don't you make like a god and smite me right here?
Both of you, stay cool.
Hoping that I will grant you the coward's way out, Isaac? Perhaps I shall, if I find your life is even worth the taking.
Shut the hell up!
Bravo, Mr. Jacobs! You have found your voice at last. It is you who challenges me.
You're goddamn right it is.
It is unwise to take the Lord's name in vain.
Jacobs, don't bother. He's not worth it.
Quiet, Isaac.
You don't-
I'm your commanding officer, and you are still a soldier. You are my responsibility. Follow my orders.
Who is playing God now?
Oh, don't give me that sycophantic bullshit. I've met plenty of people out in the streets, preaching to the masses, crashing on methamphetamines, who make a more convincing God than you. At least they have the decency to not whip out their superiority complex like a phallus and bust their ego all over the place.
Such a vulgar comparison.
Well, he didn't like that.
I've gotten, and you've been playing this room like we're pawns on some celestial chessboard. We squirm and suffer away while you gloat and brag about your morality upon a mountain of corpses without the slightest sense of irony. Either you are some god-forsaken deity who could never measure up to the stature of any god we worship on Earth, or you're nothing more than the SCP who cried wolf, pretending to be something you're not.
Stop talking to him!
I'm willing to bet it all that you're just another spineless fake like 035, hiding behind a mask, desperate to make us believe you're worth even a precious moment of our brief existence. Why don't you take that chariot of horse shit you rode in on and f off out of our reality?
The strength
Wow.
of our beliefs make or break the man. Are you willing to die for yours?
Kill me, man.
So be it.
Wait! Jacobs!
His fate is of no concern anymore.
Oh,
A
shit.
far greater decision awaits.
Where is he?
Scattered 1 trillion particles across time and space, stranded on some netherworld, tumbling through a void between dimensional storms. Does it really matter? Isn't this what you wanted?
Bring him back.
Let us put your hypothesis to the test. You claim that with my powers, you do good for this reality. Make the decisions that I dare not. Cause and effect be damned. This is your opportunity.
I can do anything.
A single act.
Oh,
A choice to have your greatest desire enacted at a moment's thought. But which one will it be?
this kind of reminds me of that movie. If you guys haven't seen it already, I highly recommend it. Bruce Almighty. Jim Carrey, Morgan Freeman, they did an amazing job. It kind of reminds me of that. Like I won't spoil. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it kind of resembles something similar like this. And God, he does something for Jim Carrey's character, and then but it just reminds me of that movie now. Is he gonna bring back Jacobs?
To destroy the Foundation? Free that unfortunate girl? Rid your body of this curse? Or is it to return Evelyn to your side? The life you indict me for?
I can't see.
And the weight of every chain reaction crashes down on your soul, as it does mine. Feel the repercussions of your actions. Doom mankind to suffer without them. Protect us. Spend your life with 053 forever fleeing civilization. Lose the one gift you still possess in this life. Or have your sister witness the monster you have become. I did warn that every choice has its consequences, even my own. And whichever act you make, I promise to never undo. Suddenly, an E-turn doesn't seem like much time at all. Why do you fight against your own instincts?
What's going on with him?
This is the nature of free will. The constant battle between logic and feeling. Wants and needs. Your base desires have already spoken.
I know what you're doing.
Giving you exactly what you wanted. It is you who must decide what you deserve. Give in to choice, Isaac. Shape reality as you wish. It's only human.
This is your chance, Isaac.
Decide! Decide!
He's like Zeus right now.
The choice is not mine to make. I can live with the consequences of my life, but I won't decide the fate of innocence with this power. Not by your means.
Whose means then?
My own. Jacobs, you're okay. Come on, breathe. Good. Keep breathing, you lucky bastard.
A wise choice. Your sister is quite proud.
Yeah, I had a feeling he would bring back Jacobs.
Don't. Just don't. Up you go, on your feet.
Mr. Watchthorn saw fit to return you. Consider yourself lucky to have a guardian angel such as him.
Already do. be lost without him.
Where did he send you?
Arctic, I think, judging from the stars. But for some reason, this little tracker I happen to have on me says, for a fraction of a second, it pinged my location as being 200,000 miles above orbit. Like there was something there. Bounced my signal back to Earth. You don't have any idea what that would be, do you?
Damn, she said no comment.
Yeah, I thought not.
Easy, numbnuts. You have hypothermia.
Oh, been there, done that. Nice job back there.
Thanks. Can't believe he fell for that.
Neither, really. I suppose I should thank you for saving my life. Thank you, Isaac.
I'd like to believe you would have done the same.
Is that so?
And you? Did you know I'd save your ass after everything you put me through?
Yeah, I mean, that is quite questionable. Okay, let's pause this. 05 Site Director Jacobs taken to medical ward by I-Class Watchthorn. Watchthorn? I think either way. Treated for mild hypothermia caused by sudden prolonged exposure to freezing water temperatures. Expected recovery time approximately 1 week. Subject SCP-343 still silent 2 days since interview concluded. No evidence of reality alteration discovered after extensive investigation. Tapes of interview have been secured for transcription. Oversight of bridge facility due to site director's incapacitation remains unassigned.
Watch. Glad you could come.
You asked, so... Well, at least you got your tapes. I doubt the council will be happy once they see it.
I doubt anybody will. Tapes are useless. They're going in the trash.
Oh, why? There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah, you had an interview
Details
with God.
about 343 and
Is
other...
there? Think about it. The things he said, the ways he said it, was all to lead you to make your decision. Either that makes him an excellent manipulator, or... he said it himself. All timelines. Every potential future. All God would need to do is tell us what was necessary in exactly the right way to meet his desired ends.
I guess the question is, are his ends for our benefit, or just his?
We don't need the tapes for that.
Sorry you didn't get your answer. Look, Crow asked to take another stab at 343 in a month. We'll see if we can get anything from him.
343 will just do the same. At least I got something valuable out of all this.
Keep the tapes. We'll still need records, and who knows, maybe there's something on there we can use in the future. Not everyone has home videos of themselves grilling an omniscient with no dark mode support. Too bright in there. But looks good on a resume.
Okay.
Just make sure you cut out some of the incriminating evidence.
There'll be more tape on the cutting room floor. Which reminds me, I'm told I won't be able to carry out my duties in this condition. So, I'm handing that responsibility to you.
Oh,
The docs say you have brain damage or something?
You're more than qualified to handle the position. Foundation protocol is second nature to you, and on top of that, I trust you to make the proper adjustments to those orders.
that is huge.
Ignoring that I almost got you killed. My bad, by the way.
This isn't repayment for letting me live. I'm the one who has to make ground here, not the other way around. Like I said, together.
Right.
Don't worry, you'll thrive. Feel free to carry out your duties in any order you wish.
Jacobs, you didn't have to...
No. Go on.
So now Watchthorn has the authority of an O5 council member. Who's this? There was a woman when 079 and 682 met. Is that her? I'm just waiting for something to happen. Whoa! She just disappeared like God. Okay, so that was take 2 of SCP-343. So, wow. Almost 2 hours of watching SCP-343, but it was really great. I mean, the voice actor for 343 was really well done. But what I really enjoyed was this was like really philosophical, like the conversations and everything, because the past like tape interviews like with 035 The Mask was just like, how were you created, where did you come from, what is your purpose. This was more like, how do you determine which life is valuable, which is not, and why are you letting this happen? Why can't you just stop it? If you know this is gonna happen, can you stop it and help us? Are we worth saving or are we worth destroying? Things like that. So I find that really interesting. And right now, as far as I can see on the playlist, there's one more SCP Sedition video, and it's called SCP Sedition, based on SCP's 978. So I wonder if timeline-wise, this is we're going to see there, and there's not going to be Jacobs, or maybe Jacobs will finally recover, or if Watchthorn will just conduct it alone, since he has the authority of a O5 council member, since Jacob transferred it to him. So we'll just see how it goes. But either way, this was really great, and I really enjoyed it. So besides that, that's all I got for today, guys. So this is a really long video, and hope you guys enjoyed it. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. And also shout out to all my members, subscribers, viewers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I really do appreciate it. So without anything else, see you guys next time.